Hello everybody and welcome back to our Create Mod series. I'm aware that the last episode was scuffed for a lot of reasons. Number one, the audio sounded bad, and I did fix that, as you can hear. My crisp, clean voice coming through with very little loud distortion. And number two, I've been made aware that my videos are a little bit confusing if you aren't already familiar with the Create Mod like I am. And you know, I guess my target audience has for a while been people who play the Create Mod themselves, people who watch other Create Mod YouTubers and would already be familiar with some of the concepts I'm talking about. But if you're just coming across these videos, it's kind of incomprehensible, as my fearsome enemy One Dogga has pointed out to me. And by the way, I'm going to be playing this episode with shaders on. Let me know if you prefer with or without in the comments. A little bit lower frame rate, but I think it looks much prettier just by default. Anyways, in the last episode, we did complete our iron farm, and it leaves a little bit to be desired. As you can see, between episodes, I added this little doorway here because I didn't want to get manged by zombies while I was AFKing. We have our lava farm here, and it does produce iron enough. It'll be enough for the near future, but I think probably we're going to have to make something a little bit more industrious when I have the resources. So, today's episode, I'm just going to leave that running, see how that works out. But now, if you saw the last episode and were able to pick it out, we got access to the nether. And the nether means we have access to a blaze burner. And the blaze burner means we have access, if I can find it in my inventory, to brass. And brass is a really big upgrade, not only for our smart funnels that we used in the last machine, but also because we can make something now called deployers. And what deployers can do, if we go to the ponder here, is they essentially act as player interaction. They can place blocks, they can interact with blocks, and if I use a certain mod, which I'm not sure if I have on, they can even fish, they can shear, they can milk, pretty much anything I can do with a right click. They can also left click. They can be used for mob farms. It's very cool. So I'm going to be crafting up some of those today, and if I have the electron tubes for that, I have one electron tube. Goodness me. I'm probably going to have to go get some redstone. Or maybe make a redstone farm. Who knows? Who knows? Not me. Do you think I planned these things in ahead? Certainly not. But to make a brass hand, all you need is 4 brass sheets, which can be made in my mechanical press, which I use for all sorts of sheets. And I can just throw them down here, and this will squish them into a very similar, but not identical material. This is enough for 2 brass hands, but I need more electron tubes. So let's see how much redstone I have spare, because I need to make rose quartz to make electron tubes, and those look kind of weird with the shader. That's fine. And only 11 redstone. That's not, enough. It's alright though. And I'm also going to need sandpaper to actually refine that down, so that's pretty cheap. Just sand and paper, as the name suggests. Do I have paper on me? Yes, I do have one more paper. Craft those together. Not a brass trapdoor. Sandpaper. Then when we throw redstone and quartz together, well, first of all, I can make my brass hands. But I can also make rose quartz, which when I use this on my offhand with sandpaper, there's a polished rose quartz. And then all I have to do is go get more iron because I'm out of iron. Yoink. Smush that up. And then I can combine these to make an electron tube. And electron tubes open the door to all sorts of new inventions, which can make my machines that much more complicated and efficient. Oh, it uses andesite casing. Of course it does. I'm gonna move my raccoon. He's just been sitting here. I feel kind of bad for him. Here, you can sit with your friend. Do I still have those logs? No, I'm out of logs. By the way, in case I didn't explain my storage system well enough, this uses a mode called storage drawers. And each storage drawer, you can get them in, I believe, 1, 2, or 4 varieties. But they can each store multiple stacks of items in one go. And given that I have a bunch of them, I can store a bunch of different items. And then using this other mod called Tom's Simple Storage, I have this neat little interface where I can access all of this without having to manually peruse through here. And the recipes are balanced, so I don't feel like that's broken at all. It's basically Applied Energistics, if you're familiar with that mod, but way simpler. Wow, that is majestic lighting. I look very handsome here. And by linking together all these storage drawers with the spruce trim, or, you know, any wood trim, then I can feed them all into this drawer controller, which lets me access all of these as one inventory. Is actually pretty expansive. I highly recommend, if you use storage drawers, doing something like this. I think it's very convenient. And if I was a little bit grindier, I could even just like stack these all together in like a one big brick just to store thousands of items. Anyways, moving on. Let's get building. So oh, you can see his little enchantments. So I think I completely skimmed over it in the past episode. But something I did with this raccoon is I used a mod. It's the same one that adds these domestication beds. So that bed lets him respawn, but you can also enchant them. So this guy, can both respawn if he dies, just like, you know, me in Minecraft. And he also has chain lightning. And I'm not perfectly sure how that works, but I think if you were to attack mobs, he'd be able to like attack multiple at once using like a little zap. Very cool. And here's this pillager trophy I also skimmed over. Starting to think the last episode wasn't very good. You know, it was a little bit rushed through. I'm not the most proud of it. I'm not surprised it's not doing well statistically. Anyways, what was I doing? Yes, deployers. I need wood. I need stripped wood. Dark oak logs, that'll do fine. I only actually needed 4. If I had dark oak, why on earth was I using spruce? So now I can go ahead and make these deployers, which are just fantastic little pieces of machinery. So now that I have deployers, that'll let me open up a lot of builds. Wow, that sunset is majestic with the shader on. Doesn't mean I have to sleep any less, but it looks very nice. I have my bed on me, right. Forgot about that bit. But this will let me make anything that requires replanting or the placing of blocks. So I think the very first thing I want to make is some sort of automatic tree farm. Because I mentioned, I believe episode 1, when I was making the one that used to be here, that it would be way more efficient if I had a deployer. And that will basically allow me to replant the saplings so I can just go completely automatic and I don't have to touch it whatsoever. So I do still want to do that. The issue is I'm not perfectly sure where I'd build that. And then the other thing I can make is a full stone quarry where I can pick out a spot and then I can loose my minecart contraption, which I'll show you how those are made. And it can basically automatically bore a tunnel through the underground and collect tons and tons of ores for me. And that is still more efficient than my iron farm. See if I can make one for an example here. Let's see. Yes, here we go. Card assembler. Or which one will I make first? I think I'll try making my tunnel bore machine, even if it's a little bit small. I'll grab these linear chassis, super glue. I believe I'll need a minecart with a furnace in it. And that is so that it can power itself, because if I'm not mistaken, minecarts with furnaces can pull from the inventory of a contraption, which again, I'll show you in a second. Basically, as we're digging, I can have it automatically deposit it into chests. I hear an illager. Why do these guys always want a piece of me? Ow. Ow. Is it because I massacred that base? Oh, I'm gonna die. That's bad. That's quite bad. This is why you have spawn kids. That was annoying. Oh man. Anyways, now that that's over with, let me make what I was trying to build. Yoink some iron. Okay, now I should be able to make a minecart. And then borrow a furnace. This one will do. Minecart with a furnace. I'm gonna make this mechanical plow. Oops. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. So if we look at this ponder here, pretty easy to see what I'm gonna use this for. So when a mechanical plow on a contraption runs across something like rails, is what we'll be using it for, inventories that it runs across automatically pick it up. And when you combine that with the fact that deployers, wherever mine went, can pull from the inventory on a contraption, you can see how we can use that to run rails pretty much infinitely. So I'll see if I can wing this, not actually using any sort of tutorial yet. I'm gonna grab my card assembler, make sure this is rotation locked so it isn't spinning all over the place. Draw on my minecart with furnace, grab a lever. And again, if you aren't familiar, in order to make this a contraption, all you have to do is lift this up and then the minecart moves whatever's on top of it with it. So to do this, I think all I should have to do is something like, and then we'll have my drills, and more drills will be nice, but for now we can just use this for proof of concept. This is going to take a little bit of tinkering, I think. Now, my only concern is lava. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I'm thinking if I put a deployer here, facing downwards, this is going to be my rail user. So when this is powered, this is just going to be constantly placing rail, and if I'm correct, I should place it here. I have to move these forward one. So rails, and then I believe one block lower. Will that work? Because I want it to place stone here, just in case there isn't a block there, so that I can keep placing the rails and it won't break. And then another part of this machine we're going to need is, maybe I'll bring this just a couple blocks back, is we're going to need this plow here, and then I attach the drills again. Alright, this is looking right. And then chests, I think, is all I need left. I know, I'm very barrel-pilled typically. And now, I believe that's actually all I need to do. You know what? I think I need like at least 3 more mechanical drills just to cover this area. When a contraption moves through blocks, it can actually like collide. It can clip through them. But, I don't know. If I'm going through all this effort, I might as well make a 3x3. At the end of the last video, I set up this little contraption. Hopefully it hasn't chewed through all of the cobblestone yet. It has not. Because I wanted to turn it all into gravel. And boy, that is a sight to behold. So I'm going to grab all of this gravel. And we're going to do something a little bit fun. So the more gravel that's in here, the more iron we make. I think you can see where this is going. Any second now. Yep. That's quite a few iron nuggets, I think. Yeah, that's fun. Well, how many was that? Was it like... It was only like 10. Well, it's alright. We almost have a full stack of iron ingots now. Worth the effort. So basically, yeah, I'm just gonna mix all my quartz with diorite. And mix all the diorite with andesite. Mix all the diorite with cobblestone to make andesite. Just given that I can't be bothered to go mining right now. I don't want to go mining twice in one episode. That'd be a crime. Alright, and that is all the alloy I will need in the near future. Now I'm good to make my remaining 3 drills. With plenty to spare. Drill, drill, drill. And that is quite expandable as well. So when I want more drills, when I want more efficiency, I just slap on more drills. Not hard at all. And now I glue the entire thing together. That's right, glue. This thing is held together with super glue and a dream. I love the crate mod. Be all picked up. Self-driving cart. How does it know? Is it just like if you have a deployer with... Okay, well that's cool. Oops. Oops. Not yet. Not yet. Oh, and the plow also plows dirt. I didn't know that. Okay, now it's the right way. And we'll use cobblestone. And when I'm digging a deep slate level, I just replace that with cobble deep slate. Pick it all up. And if I'm not mistaken, it should be operating. Oops. Anyway, I can just pick that up. So my inventory as one thing. Thinking about doing like a little bit of a capsule corp thing with that. If you've ever seen Dragon Ball, they have these little capsules that they can deploy buildings from. I'm thinking I could use that with that system. I think it would be cool. Alright, let's give this thing its maiden voyage. Start it off with a bit. That is the wrong way. No. Like that? Sure. Okay, I think that's working. Let's give it a go. Give it a little push. Why is it not collecting it? Oh, I know the issue. I know the issue. Okay. So the entire issue with this is Create doesn't like it when you use anything other than vanilla chests, and I've used cork chests. So that's actually kind of an easy fix. Make sure those are still glued in, and I can actually throw a couple extra down here. Or do I even need to? Oh, I can. I can. Okay, now this whole thing should work, I hope. Okay, let's give it a go. Let's give it a whirl. Throw a lava bucket. I believe I can power it with this. Nope. Isn't the joy of creation just fantastic? You know, it's the scientific process. It's trial and error. It might look like I'm failing, but really, I'm having fun, and that's what matters, I think. Oh my god, I wasn't recording for any of that. Well, I have just dug a tunnel, and for the sake of the video, I think I have to dig another one now. But, oh, my pickaxe broke. That's bad. It's really bad. For the sake of demonstration, I guess I'll do it again. But I did get the tunnel bore working. I will show off the design once I get home. Oh, and I'm greeted with a bison. Hello, sir. Please do not ram me. Oh, that is quite the thing to dig up to. I didn't know this was here. A first of the village. This is really cool. That isn't in order. Can I pick him up? Please, that would be so cool. No, looks like I'm not strong enough to. So this is from Plenty of Golems. This is the first of the village. And if I can figure out a way to get him back to my house, he would be a huge defensive asset. Because what he does is he wanders around, and whenever his bell rings, he does damage to hostile mobs in the area. So that is really cool to find, just completely randomly. Anyways, I think I'll head home. Oh, never mind. I don't need to run all the way home. I found a waystone. So what I did, I don't actually remember where the entrance to my tunnel was. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record. So I just didn't get any of that footage. I'm sure I'll live, or maybe I'll die of a broken heart. One of the two. So that was, none of those filled. Pretty successful. We got a ton of cobblestone, a ton of miscellaneous stuff, but this is the design I ended up with. So I had to move this one back a little bit while I was fiddling around with it. And that just gives it a little more slack so it doesn't destroy it while it's still on it sometimes. And these are pretty much unchanged, and I had to change the chests from the cork chests I use, although they look less nice, because Create doesn't like cork chests, they like vanilla Minecraft chest. So, for the sake of demonstration... Oh, and by the way, just to explain this, so when there's coal in one of these chests, like over here, the minecart with furnace will automatically take coal from here that it mines to power itself. And provided you're getting not incredibly unlucky, that's quite helpful. So I'll lock the rotation, pick that up again, and part of the idea of this is to solve my andesite problem, because I'm going to get a ton of diorite, and of course a ton of just straight andesite. So hopefully I shouldn't have to go grinding every time. Alright, let's go find a different spot to do that. I believe I was just somewhere down here, something like that. Oh my gosh! Okay, maybe not there. I didn't know that was there. Somehow, or maybe I did and I forgot. Looks so intimidating with the shaders. I'm gonna dig down a bit. I also don't want to run straight into that ravine because that'd be quite dangerous for me. I do have to accompany the minecart. It's not fully automatic, but it does make mining quite a bit faster and a lot less effort on my part. Because there's a difference between running along and occasionally patching a hole in the wall and mining a little bit in the sides. Was it down here? Something like this. As you can see on the mini-map at top left, yeah, it was quite a long way through. Can I pull up the map to see my starting point, actually? Because I started over here, and I went all the way along here. So it's pretty impressive. And let's actually just do that same thing so I can show you guys, because I forgot to record my first one. Oh, silly me. I should probably have my brain checked. Oh, we can actually drop into my original tunnel here. All the way down there, all the way down here. It's quite a mess. You know, water leaked and then somehow it didn't disappear. Just a kerfuffle all around. Let's go back to my original starting point and bore off in some other direction. Here seems good. Hopefully I don't have to mess with it for an hour and a half first. Go, force. Yay! No, right across the ravine. That's dangerous. But it works as it should, and instead of falling straight into the ravine and being lost to time forever, I just built a little cobblestone bridge across it, which is wonderful. And of course, the more drills I get, the wider the tunnel this will dig, the more efficient it will be. Seems like the only hiccup it gets is when it's on the magnet, or is it called magnetite? The magnets with Create New Age. Because they take a little bit of time to mine, but looks like it's doing just fine. I should probably put an experience tag on here. Right, I think I'll call it quits here because I see some water ahead on the minimap. And that is working just beautifully. And now I have to run all the way home. Yep, it's quite a distance. It's okay though. At least this one didn't have a ton of water for me to push through. And it's pretty much just a straight shot home. I should have worn my roller skates. And we're home. Okay, that works really well. Big fan of that. Yahoo! Okay. And we come up to a very nice day. Not that any day in Minecraft isn't nice. And we can see all the things I collected. Well, the machine I made for my child. I'm taking credit for the things my child made. That is quite a bit. Can't be mad. Now that my beautiful tunnel bore is complete, and I will expand it in the future, there are more things I want to do today. Number one is that I want to make a blaster. And what I mean by that is, well, if you notice how many ores we're now getting, and fire clay, we have a lot of fire clay. I don't really want to melt that all in a furnace, a standard furnace. So what we can do is we can make something called a blaster with the Create mod. So if I look at the ponder for encased fan, we can process things by particle. If we just do a simple setup like this, then that is a fuelless and very fun way to process tons and tons of materials at one time. But the issue is also, we're nearly out of power. So very soon, provided I can even get this fan going, I'm probably going to be starting off on my basic power plants. Probably just a blaze burner setup. Propeller, andesite casing, shaft. Okay. Tree farm's next, by the way. Didn't I have a clipboard at one point? Where'd my clipboard go? I liked that. Here's my clipboard. Iron farm complete. And washing setup was also on my clipboard. Well, I can actually take out 2 stones with 1 bird then. Make my propellers. We did have 1 fan for the iron farm, but a couple extras wouldn't hurt at all. So much stuff to make. Encased fan, here we are. So this is actually pretty simple. I don't know if I want to make it in my house, because that is a fire hazard. Maybe like a basement. Just for my more fiery inclined machines. No, nope, wrong. Not right. Oh, and conveniently, we have a little bit of a power access right here. That helps a ton. So looking through here, I think what I'll use for the bulk of my basement is pillared cobblestone bricks. They're a little bit, basement-y is the best way I can put it. It's the only way I can put it. I really don't know how to describe them otherwise. I think they'll look nice in a basement that has to be fireproof. Nothing too fancy, just a single contraption. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough cobblestone for that. Ooh, just the right amount. All of these 4 walls were exactly 64. That is a rare but satisfying Minecraft moment. Okay, speaking of satisfying Minecraft moments, what am I gonna do for the floor? The stone room. It's just very ominous. It's just a room made of stone. This is basically where I think I'll put all of my blasters, all of my particle processors in general. All of my fans, if you're normal. So pretty easy. Ooh, actually, before I do that, I found something out that is going to save me a ton of resources. I think you chose an architect, but if you process andesite alloy on one of these, that's not correct. That's not what I wanted, actually. Okay, maybe I have to make just the one. But if you set that filter first and then process andesite alloy, you get 6 from 1. So instead of getting 8 from 2, you get 6 from 1. So that's like doing math. You get 12. 12 from 2. That's just 4 bonus. So anytime I want to make shafts, I'm going to be using one of these now. And that is why having a mechanical saw set up like this is extremely useful. besides the workplace hazard. Anyway, now that I have this, wherever I put my little hidey hole, I actually... Oh, it's over here. Just a couple of these should do wonders. Actually, I could do it through the top, maybe? I'm just trying to think about how I want to do this. And then, is that going the right way? No. How about here? Okay, so that's right. And then, how far does that go? Okay, far enough, far enough, far enough. Okay, so after a bunch of tinkering about, I think I'll just cut that out because that was a long time. I have figured out a way to plant a encased fan here, and this is actually kind of an ideal spot. Once I cover this back up. So here's what I can do. This is kind of cool. I have to go get some leaves, unfortunately, but it'll still be kind of cool. So let me show you what I can do with this. I want to thank the Just Create SMP for this, as with quite a few of the cooler things that I'm blatantly copying. I'll place that there, and then that to block it. So this would be a standard blasting setup. And I'll put that in there. So anything I put in here would be smelted, as though it were in a furnace. Can I? Okay. But what some people don't know is that if I then take oak leaves and then waterlog them, if I can get some water, this works like this. Yes, it does. So this actually stops being a smelt and starts being a wash. So you can use one fan for two things, which is very beautiful. And even further than that, it gets worse. Then I can also grab a campfire, and those who know already know where this is going. I can furthermore put a campfire here. Actually, I think I'll just generally expand this room one more in this direction. Now, ugly looking room aside, I have one more spot, and I could just slap depots on here for each of the smelting types, and that would work fine. But what I kind of want to do is make it a little bit more create, if I can. I just have to... So what I want to do is take conveyor belts that I can put like the source here. It'll feed them through here and then sort them depending on what kind of thing they are. And then a conveyor belt back here, which will just bring them up. Oh dear. What's happened? Has my mouse died? My Bluetooth has also stopped working. That's weird. Okay, that was weird. I think I've just been EMP'd. So, okay, sorry. As I was saying, I want an input here that'll drag them along and deposit them wherever they're needed. And then once they're done, I'd have a little input, a little wall that would transfer them along. I'm not sure that's realistic though, and I'm also not really sure it's needed. Because as cool as that would be, one, I don't really have the power for that right now. And two, I don't really think it's necessary. Because cool as the idea is, it's also pretty easy to just smack a deployer here. Or, sorry, a depot here. And have it do that without automation. But just as fast. So, I'm trying to think about ways I could automate this. Well, I do have an idea. I'll have to do a little bit of testing first. So, I can't use a mechanical arm. That's kind of off the table. But what I'm wondering is, can a chute take from a depot? Because I don't really think so. What that did give me, though, is an extension of my previous idea. I think this could work. If I have enough gusto and love in my heart. Ow. Ow. That's probably a workplace hazard. Alright, this is gonna take some tinkering. I'll see you in a little bit. Well, I'm mid-tinker, and something I actually have to do that I didn't really foresee is I need more redstone. And instead of going mining, because I don't really feel like it, wow, that rain looks good. is I can actually make it in my mixer. At some point, I'm going to fully automate this. But right now, all I have to do is put lava in there, throw in some flint, and throw in some netherrack, and it makes some redstone dust, which is just enough for what I need right now. And now I need quartz, which I also don't have a ton of. Back to the nether. Also, something kind of funny I wanted to show you while I was grabbing that little bit of netherrack to make that redstone. Villagers have seemed to have colonized the nether. I don't know why. Oh god! Oh god! Okay, I don't know why, but they seem to have just wandered in. And they don't seem to have died yet, so that's a little bit surprising. Anyway, I'll grab some soul sand because that's easier than going quartz mining. Am I crazy, or does that look like the phase logo? So this is part of the reason it's mega helpful to have this setup here. Oh, right. It's not complete yet. Therefore, the problems. It's okay. I think I can just sneak it in here. Oops. Yeah, I forgot you have to throw it, not right click. Beautiful. Oh, and I even got a gold nugget. Okay, that's enough nether quartz. Back to the tinker. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's done. I'm pretty sure I got it working exactly as I wanted it to. Oh dear. Okay, so I do still have a little bit of tidying up to do. But besides that, it should be complete. I'm going to use brass casings because I ran out of andesite casings. So, actually no, it absolutely has to be andesite casings. I'm going to lose my mind if it's not. I changed